What's going on, guys? Kulprit here, and welcome back once again. It's time to talk about some Hardline. Now, a lot of you guys have kind of approached me through Twitter and things, asking what are my impressions, am I going to do a video and things, and yes, I plan to do a video, but I wanted to wait until the beta was over. I wanted to get as much hands-on time as I could. I wanted to kind of play all the game modes as much as I could, different weaponry and things, and I did that. I played probably 12 to 15 hours, which to some of you is not a lot, but for me, around my schedule, is actually pretty good. I played a lot. I wanted to play a lot. I enjoyed what I tested. Try to get a well-rounded base. I didn't want to just be one of these people that haven't played and were giving their opinions or giving an impressions video the first day. You can't do that. We saw a patch in the middle of the beta. Things are changing, and I just wanted to make sure I had as an informed opinion as I could, not only to do this video, but just because, there was so much going on. There was so much to think about and absorb. I had swirling thoughts in my head. Clouded mind. I couldn't quite figure out how I felt about it. Now, if you want a little bit more depth in a longer form. Now, I'm going to try to make this video not so long. It easily could go 20 minutes. Go check out the Friendly Fire podcast we did last week. It should be up on my YouTube channel. It's probably like the previous video or two where I talk with Darth and Sully from my A Squad guys, as well as, my co-host Puppy. We talk in depth about Hardline, our impressions, how we felt about the beta and things like that. So go check that out if you want a little bit more discussion. I think it's almost like 2 hours of talk on Hardline, probably about an hour and a half of Hardline. Everything else kind of fills in. Today I'm going to try to just hit a topic. So I have a text file here that I've kind of formulated my thoughts. I literally played the beta with a notepad next to me. I just jotted down my reactions. Some of you guys got to see some of those on Twitter, of course, as I always do. It's kind of off the hip reactionary stuff on Twitter. That's what I try to do. Just to kind of see where you guys are. Here's some feedback, some blowback on me, and I got plenty of that. I got people that like this game and are defending it fanboyishly. I got people that are just, they're just predetermined, prejudiced to hate this game. And I understand both sides. And I don't know where I fall, to be honest. So let's go through this list, and maybe as I do this list, I'll kind of paint a little bit more of a picture. And towards the end, I will give you my verdict, what my plan is, and I know some of you guys want to know that. So just remember, make the decision yourself. We just had a free open beta, open demo. You should have played it. You should have checked it out yourself. This is a game that will not be for everyone, but I don't think it needs to be as hated as some people are, or at least that preconceived hate, carrying over this grudge and this bitterness. And I carry it too. I'm not judging anybody for that, but try to have an open mind. So let's get right into it. First thing when I loaded into the beta, well, let me first say, I went into this beta with no expectations. I was a skeptic. I didn't follow Hardline all that much after the first beta. I didn't like the first beta. I didn't like that map. I wasn't crazy about Heist, particularly in that beta. I liked Blood Money a little bit better. Felt like that could get really repetitive. I didn't like some of the changes. The survivalist perk where he automatically revives himself. I thought that was one of the worst design decisions ever. To me, it indicated a really poor thought out process on their part. I didn't like the delay. I thought that spoke poorly towards what was going on here. I didn't have a lot of faith. I didn't have a lot of enthusiasm. I tried to keep an open mind. I knew all along I was going to take advantage of this open beta to make the decision for myself. So I went in without any expectations, and I feel like I was able to keep a little bit better of an open mind. If anything, I was expecting to be disappointed, but when you don't have expectations, it's kind of hard to be disappointed. So, So I hope you guys were able to do that as well, and you didn't go in carrying anger like so many people seemingly have. So let's get right in. When I first went in, one of the first things I noticed right away, and I think everybody's here, there was two big things. It was gunplay and the time to kill. The gunplay for me, when you roll in, what is it, RO93 or whatever that carbine was, or carbine, you guys always get on me for that. There is more recoil, at least on the stock guns, and on certain guns, the recoil is there. The recoil is real. It's harder to handle. I like that. I even though I'm a bad accuracy guy, I have a hard gun skill. I'm not very good at gunplay. I'm never going to be accused of being an aimbot, that's for sure. More recoil to me means more skill. I always welcome skill into the equation, even if it means I'm going to personally lose more gunfights. I just like that. I like the idea of a higher skill cap. But while we'll say there's initially more recoil, as you get better guns, and I'm looking at you M16, I'm looking at you 416, the guns get easier to handle just naturally. And then I have a feeling, or my experience was that the attachments in this game have a greater effect on recoil. There's three attachments, if I'm just off the top of my head, that affect recoil: the muzzle brake, the compensator, and the heavy barrel. All kind of take away recoil in their own way. So make sure you read those descriptions. Now we're going to have to obviously check them again because they may change for the release, but they all affect recoil. They were all kind of focused around doing something to the recoil and negating some of that recoil. So when you got a gun like the M16 coupled with a couple attachments here or there, like a grip and a barrel attachment, I feel like the net result in Hardline was that the gunplay was actually easier. Mileage may vary. It's going to be different in a release, but that was my feeling, that initially it was more challenging, but as you got higher in, you got some of the unlocks, got some of the better weapons, it actually became a little bit easier. Now, when you couple that into the time to kill, it gets especially easier to kill things. But I'm going to get into that in just a second. A couple observations on specifics. Shotguns are OP. And I don't like to throw around the OP word. And I've gotten a little blowback on Twitter on this. I just don't see what you guys are saying unless you guys are shotgun users and you're loving it. I get that shotguns were garbage in Battlefield 4. I don't care. I think shotguns are terrible in first-person shooters. I don't really know many developers who've gotten it right, and I think a lot of time and effort is wasted on trying to jam in shotguns into a game when they don't know what the heck to do with them. I'd almost rather see them just completely removed. Not saying I hate shotguns. I just hate the way devs try to balance them into a game. Anyway, the one-hit kill range on shotguns right now is way too long. I get shot in the arm at 25, 30 meters. I'm dead before I hear the sound. That is not fair. I understand it's a low time to kill. I understand SMGs chew me up quickly. I experience that death when an SMG. I feel it. I know I messed up. I know one chewed me up from behind. Shotguns, you don't know that. You're just dead. And that's not right. You know, it's hip fire, 30 meters, you're dead. No questions asked. And that's wrong. I don't like any experience of one-hit kills, be it a sniper rifle, be it a shotgun. The one-hit kills are no good. Fast time to kill on an SMG that shreds through you, it feels a little less frustrating. The effect is ultimately the same. It just feels less frustrating than just dying. So they need to address this. They've said they're going to address this. We'll have to wait and see. Proof will be in the execution there. On the same note, sniper rifles, to me, they generally fire too fast. The Scout, I believe, I'm not much of a sniper. You guys know that. A lot of people have told me it fires very, very quickly. I'd like to see that addressed. It seems like you can just spam the sniper shots from distance. Couple that with the Magnum ammo. The Magnum ammo on sniper rifle is just dumb. You can take down choppers. I think it's like 38 damage with a Magnum. It's just ridiculous. I think they've already said they're going to fix this as well. I'd rather they just remove it. I don't like any kind of damage upgrades to any weapons. I think that was a big problem with Bad Company 2. I'd really rather not revisit that, guys. If you can't balance a gun without boosting damage here or there, then you're doing a poor job balancing in general. So let's just kind of keep that in mind. We'll see how they pan those out. Now, the other big one, time to kill. You all know, if you know me very well, you know that this game's time to kill is a little too low for my taste. You die too quick. And I get really frustrated because in Battlefield 4, we spent a year trying to fix this. We spent a year trying to fix the low time to kill and the one-hit kills and all these things. And then in the very next iteration of the game, you go and developmentally design a low time to kill into the game. Oh my God, that frustrates the hell out of me. We didn't just sit here crying for a year saying fix this, fix this, fix this because we really like a low time to kill. So I don't really understand this design decision. And my main problem with this is I don't think the Frostbite engine handles low time to kill very well. It's too clunky. It gets choked up with all this data. It does not consistently handle a low time to kill. So you should know what you're working with. You should know the engine you're working with, and you should design around the strengths and weaknesses of that engine. You shouldn't force feed a low time to kill into an engine that cannot handle it, in my opinion. I think that's a problem. It's probably one they're going to regret. Now, let me say this. If the netcode is consistent, they pull off some kind of miracle. We've seen incremental improvements. I don't think we've seen any leaps and bounds yet. I don't have a ton of hope for it always being perfect, obviously. I don't think any FPS would be perfect, honestly, or online multiplayer FPS. But if the netcode is consistent, I can adapt and learn to anything. I will adapt to the low time to kill. There's pros and cons to this, of course. It feels a lot of the same problems are being inherited over from Battlefield 4. A lot of you guys are saying dirt, but it feels like a lot of the same problems that we've already seemingly fixed a little bit in Battlefield 4, or at least improved, like the one-hit kills, the crappy webcams, things like this are back. So I don't know where they branched off this demo, this beta version, but I really don't like that I feel that one-hit kill thing back. That just drives me crazy. So with all that said, I will admit that it does feel satisfying when shooting enemies. That low time to kill brings me back to Call of Duty, where if you aim, you get your targets on, and you engage, he will drop. That is satisfying. As much as I like a higher time to kill, I like the ability to escape, find cover, turn on people. That is me. That is what I like as a game, as a shooter. I'd be lying if I didn't tell you it's fun to just drop people. It is fun to get 3 or 4 kills easily with one magazine. It's nice to not have to reload every time I accidentally fire 3 rounds. These are things you don't have to do. I don't reload as much. I'm not getting caught with my pants down as much. And these are things I do enjoy. Overall, though, in my opinion, there's less skill involved with a short time to kill model than there is with a longer time to kill model. Just like I like the more recoil because it raises the skill cap and invites skill into the game. I wish a longer time to kill model would be incorporated or more time to kill there, or slowed down, however you want to phrase it. I want a slightly higher time to kill. I don't want anything huge. I don't want Bad Company 2. I feel like there's definitely too long. There's definitely too far. But I mean, honestly, I would settle right here for about Battlefield 4, maybe Battlefield 3-ish time to kill. I think that would be great because remember, we're in a more close quarters environment here in Hardline. We're going to be facing things like shotguns, SMGs, explosives going on all around me, things like that. And even the assault rifles have higher rates of fire. The 416 has 100 higher rate of fire, things like this. So we're going to die faster inherently by the kind of things going on around us. We don't need to actually lower the time to kill as well. I wish they would address this. I believe they've hinted that they are going to address this. Again, we're going to have to see how that pans out. Now, another thing that I take away from this beta, the game modes. I was actually pleasantly surprised about this. Now, I was one going in. I thought this whole cops and robbers theme, I thought it was cheesy. I thought it was kind of like lame, to be honest with you. I thought it was just going to be this, you know, a little service to it and really kind of not much. It was just going to be like the same old, and it was just kind of going to be single player. It gives them a little new marketing edge, whatever. But I'll be honest, some of these things actually I felt kind of, you know, I want to say immersed in it a little bit, or more than I thought I would anyway. So let's talk about Heist. Heist in Beta 1, I did not like at all. The two trucks right next to each other, it just sounds, you could cover both trucks at the same time. I just didn't like it. I don't like that map now, I've come to realize. Downtown, or whatever they called it, Highwire, or whatever they called it. High tension, maybe they called it. I don't remember, but I just don't care for that. I've played it now in Heist in the second beta. I've played it in Hotwire. I think, did we even play it in Conquest? I don't quite recall. I just don't like it. I don't think it has much character. There's too much verticality. There's verticality for no reason. I've come to realize I just don't like that map. I do really like Heist on Bank Job. To me, it's the replacement for Rush, obviously. We all got mad when they took Rush out. Now I see why. Obviously, they're going with Heist. It feels a lot, and it reminds me a lot like Squad Rush, a mode I loved in Battlefield 3 and lamented that they took out of Battlefield 4. There's some of that in here that I really, really like. It's got some obliteration feeling to it as well. It's got a good mix of all kinds of things. Action-packed, chaotic, emphasis on squad gameplay. I can't you know, repeat that enough. It really, you know, a squad here can run the table. What ends up happening is you kind of have one good squad against one good squad, and any other kind of guys kind of fill in the blanks, and hopefully you luck out to get a couple good blues to help you win the match. With that said about squad gameplay, I absolutely love the effect a solo player can have on the match. Whether you're playing with people or not, now you're gonna have an uphill battle playing by yourself. Obviously, that goes without saying in almost any mode. I guess even TDM you can make an argument for, but the fact that as a single guy, you guys know I play Lone Wolf a lot, I really can affect the outcome of a match. Even play, you know, say I'm playing solo, I'm gonna play defense. I see I have a semi-competent squad in here that are communicating. I'll let them run bags. I'm gonna play defense, or I'm gonna hold intercept points, or things like this. And you can really affect a match, and that's great. Now, one downside of this, I felt like the matches were a little too quick. You know, 6 minutes, something like that. If we could push that, and I don't really know how to do that because there's no real metric in there you can change. You can't add tickets. That's not going to really... If you add tickets, the criminals will win more. If you add, you know, time limit, I'd love to see it go about 10 minutes-ish, but I really don't know how you would do that. We'll have to see how it translates onto other maps. You know, other maps are obviously going to play differently, and that's one of my big concerns. As much fun as I'm having with Heist on Bank Job, is it going to translate to the same on other maps? I don't know. It really played very differently. I did play it on Dust Bowl, played very differently there. Semi-similar, crazy, a lot of CQB. And I did play it again on Downtown. Didn't really care for that. It was kind of the same thing. The two trucks are in the same spot. You take the stuff. You got to go up the buildings. I didn't care for that one as much. So it'll be interesting to see how this kind of goes out across all the other maps. This mode felt the most like Cops vs. Robbers to me. It felt a lot like Payday, in my opinion, on a better gunplay engine. I really, really enjoyed Heist. And if I do end up buying this game and enjoying it, it'll probably be on the back of Heist. With that said, Hotwire, I went in, now no high hopes of Hotwire. You guys know I'm not a vehicle guy. I had no hopes for this. I found it really kind of curious that all the YouTubers in the program, the game changers, were hyping the hell out of Hotwire. It was like a unanimous across the board. And anytime we get kind of a unanimous, unified opinion, I get a little suspicious. But I can now understand kind of where some of them were probably coming from. I still think some of them should be suspicious, or we should be suspicious of some of them. I played it a little bit, didn't like it at all. Played it another night, really had a good time. And that was with one buddy of mine, my buddy DT. We were kind of running around, having a great time. It's really good to grind up experience and money. Fun if you're playing with friends. It's not so good solo. If you're playing it solo, I wouldn't play this at all. I don't think I would enjoy that very much. It's more fun with a driver and a gunner or something like that. You kind of coordinate a little bit. You can jump out and steal another vehicle, those types of things. Even with that said, the game clearly can get repetitive. It lacks that main objective. They've said they tried some main objectives and they just got camped and things. You can't patch out the horrible people playing the game, I guess. But the gunfight moments, the big epic kind of, it brings back the heat. That scene when you're in the street and you're running down the street and there's cars going by, you're blowing them up, there's people dying. Those are pretty darn good, guys. They're kind of, I hesitate to say the Battlefield moments, but those might be Hardline moments. And I had a lot of those in the couple rounds I played the one night, and it was great. It was a lot of fun. It is hard to tell how the gameplay is going to play out. once everyone has all the upgrades. Only time will tell on that. You know, the kind of the chassis, the RPGs, the nitro, all these things. Not a lot of people had those so much. I do know that C4 was a problem, and there needs to be some tweaking to that, maybe just on this game mode specifically. Maybe a proximity to detonate, you have to be somewhat close enough to blow it up, or a max timer. If you put C4 down, it'll automatically just explode in 30 seconds, or maybe just disappears or something. It needs some tweaking because it was just C4 everywhere, all over the ground. That was a problem. Sabotage kits I don't really like. I don't understand why we need to have those, but that's a design decision. Hopefully we'll see that won't be an issue. Now I'm going to touch on Conquest real quick. Again, this video is going to go long, but I have a lot to cover. Conquest doesn't really fit with this theme, and that's okay. I understand they put it in for a branding. It's the common element, the common mode through all Battlefield titles. I get that. With all that said, I played some 64-man on Dust Bowl. I played some 32-man as well. I enjoyed it. It's infantry-only Conquest. The map's a little rough because there's a lot of sniping areas and things, but once you learn some basic pathing and stuff like that, and what to watch out for, what bad, kind of kill alleys, kill zones, it got a lot more fun, a lot more enjoyable. I was able to do a lot more work. Again, I like the fact that I could have a profound effect on these maps, on these matches as a single guy, and then especially in a squad. When we played some A squad in this, we were just rolling people. I don't know if we lost a match all night as A squad. So it feels weird. It's a weird fit, Conquest and Hardline. But I can honestly tell you that I can almost see myself enjoying Conquest more in Hardline than I did in Battlefield 4, and that's purely because I'm tired of getting killed by all the choppers, the rocket launchers, the tanks, all these things. So it was nice just to get down to gunplay. There was some other things going around, but I never felt impotent against anything. I could take out a car, I could take out a chopper, I could do things, I could have an effect on everything, and that was very refreshing to me, very welcome. The money system, it has to be slower at launch, I would think. Otherwise, people are going to burn through. I mean, I could probably have all the unlocks I want the first week and be done with it. With that said, they're going to have to add some more gold sinks at the end of the game. Think skins, gun camos, all these things. That's pretty good. I'm assuming they have kind of plans for that. Even if they wanted the microtransaction, that stuff, I don't really care. It's not for me. You want to spend your money however you want to spend it, that's fine, but don't give yourself, or don't give anybody who does, an advantage over me. That's kind of the fine line for me. I like the semi-freedom to buy what you want. With that said, that freedom then is nerfed and kind of castrated by the faction weapon system, which I think is pretty dumb. It's pretty frustrating. You kind of grant me the freedom and then you restrict that freedom. And some of the attachments are still hidden behind these kill unlock thresholds, but at least it's just the attachment and then you can buy whichever one you want. It is an improvement. I felt like it could have been done better. But with that said, it's unlimited, like the gun weapon license. It's only a limited annoyance because 300 kills will come relatively quickly in release, and I won't mind putting in the grind to get those things come release. I wasn't going to do that in the beta because it just didn't make sense if everything's going to be over so quickly. Just some more general thoughts. Again, squad play was at a premium. Love that. Squad system or spawn system is still pretty bad. They need a combat check. They need a threat proximity check or something. This is spawning on your teammates. They need a delay, something like that. We've seen some of this kind of addressed in Battlefield 4. Flat out, just don't let somebody spawn in on a teammate if he's in combat. That's a good. I think everybody agrees on this. I don't understand why this is in here. I'm hoping this is just a result of this demo was branched off of the dev process early on to get it through. The console's classification or whatever. Too early that it couldn't make it, and we will see that in release. I really, really hope so. With that, spawning on flags was bad as well. I can't tell you. This is mostly on Heist on Bank Job, obviously. Small map, people everywhere. Lots of times, I would spawn in on a flag. I guess that wouldn't be Heist, would it? It might be Conquest. I would spawn in on a flag. I would literally spawn with an enemy grenade in between my legs and just be dead, because nades are a little crazy in this game. Or I would spawn in a crossfire or something like this. There needs to be a proximity check. There needs to be a threat. And if there is a threat there's a nade or there's an enemy within X number of feet, don't spawn me in that place. This has been a problem with Battlefield 3. This has been a problem with Battlefield 4. This is now a problem in Hardline. It's clearly a frostbite problem, but I don't understand why this can't be fixed, because I do know of other games that do this at least better, if not, perfectly. They do it better than Battlefield does, and I was hoping to see this improved. We'll see. Only time will tell. Team squad switch was only available to you when you're alive. I didn't like this at first, but as I started to think about it, I realized this was to kind of prevent squad bombing. I don't know that was a big problem on public servers, but clearly it was kind of more coordinated, or I want to say competitive type of stuff. It was a tactic, obviously, one we did use here and there, but I didn't think it was enough to warrant the inconvenience, honestly. But we'll see. I don't know. I could go either way on this. Weapon balance needs work. The pre-order, what we're learning right now about this pre-order exclusivity to some weapons is dumb. The only way I can think it's going to be is that if you pre-order, you're going to get these weapons unlocked to you day one. You can just use them, and the rest of us civilians, these lesser customers, will then have to grind them and pay for them to unlock them. That's fine if that's the case. I'm okay with that. So whatever. Let's hope that's the way it goes. If these are like exclusive for any amount of time where I literally can't even buy them and use them, that is a terrible decision, and it will anger me quite a bit. Levolution, once again, poorly executed. The big scripted events that add very little to the gameplay, or in most occasions, like a Dust Bowl, detract from the gameplay. It takes away from the gameplay. It's not even dust. It's like a blur, and it looks terrible. Honestly, I wish they would get away from this Levolution stuff. These Levolution are not big events. Levolution should be an interactive map. Focus on the minutia. Focus on the subtle things, the little things that actually affect the game. Don't blind me. Don't drop a crane on me. These things drive me nuts. You're wasting so much time, and we've been told that Levolution has a great toll on the netcode. This is what we just were learning, and then the Levolution comes at a cost to other things, particularly destruction, which is a big disappointment for me in this game. It's very unpredictable. There's destruction where there is no destruction where you expect it now in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, and we were told in Battlefield 4 the maps were too big. There was too much going on with vehicles, air, all these things. Levolution, there was too much going on. They couldn't have everything be destructible. Well, then what's the excuse for Hardline? These are much smaller maps. There's less going on these maps. There should be destruction. I'm very disappointed with that. Movement can be pretty clunky. You can still get snagged. Hello, this is signature Battlefield, signature Frostbite. It's not as bad as it is in Battlefield 4 release right now, because we had that newest patch that kind of messed things all up. You can't even run up stairs and things. But when you're in buildings, especially like in houses and furniture, you can get snagged up a lot. I don't like this. I think that will improve though. Sidearms, pretty bad. Hard to rely on, purely a last case option. If that's just a design choice, and that's fine. I clearly haven't tried all the sidearms yet. That's one of the areas I didn't get too deeply in. So this is just kind of a cursory opinion here. So hopefully that won't be the case. I've seen a lot of guys have good success with the tasers. I've seen, the 90, the Raffica and the G18 be good. So I don't really have any experience with those to speak too much about. Good players are rewarded through perks. I like this. It's kind of the Battlefield version of COD Killstreak, but it's not as kind of just immersive breaking and dumbed down. If you're doing well, if you're on a good kill streak or a good point streak, I should say, because it counts as far as objectives and things, the game will then reward you and enable you to keep doing well. It's going to give you extra ammo. It's going to give you an extra nade. It might give you faster healing, things like this. I really like this. It rewards people for doing well, and it enables them to continue doing well. I think that's a good balance there, and it does well. It feels good. I love when I get that next tier, and I love when I get that reward. It does actually help me continue to play well. So I think that's a really good way to do it. You're rewarding players. It's a good perk system. I really enjoy that. One other thing is I do want to say I was surprised by the map assets. They were relatively unique. I didn't see a lot of copy pasting like we always see in Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3 DLCs. They literally just copy assets and paste them. We saw some of that in the first beta with the parking garage, which is obviously still there. The first beta, they picked a really poor map, in my opinion, to show off. It was too similar to Battlefield 4. It lacks personality. It wasn't really well balanced. It wasn't well done. I think they did a poor job picking that map. I think we got a pretty bad impression of the game because of that map. So basically, I was happy to see games, like Heist. It was completely new. I didn't really recognize too many copy-pasted assets, maybe chairs and tables or something, but it wasn't this, parking garage we've seen 37 times in Battlefield so far, or this the two-story building with everything's in the same place. You know what I'm talking about. So that was refreshing. That was good to see. And I was really kind of pleased with that. I'm looking at the time here, guys. It's going really long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this video off. This is going to be my impressions video. I'm going to come back and make a much shorter video and upload that as well. Just being my verdict. I'm going to outline to you guys what I'm going to do, what my stance is on Hardline at this moment, and what my plan is going forward to release. I hope you understand I don't want to make a hugely long video, so I'm going to split it up into two. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments, guys, what were your thoughts on the Battlefield Hardline Beta? What were your impressions? Please. Where do you agree with me? Where do you disagree with me? Let's start a discussion in the comments. I will answer every comment, and we'll get some, I would like it to help me kind of formulate my thoughts a little bit better. And again, if you want a little more meat and potatoes, you want a little more long form, go check out last week's podcast. I think you'll enjoy it. Thanks so much for listening, guys. I will talk to you next time. Take care.